Welcome to another edition of Business Spotlight, and I'm joined today by Jolene Williams-Pears, and she is the co-founder of Agora Staff. So, Jolene, welcome to the call. It's good to speak with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's really lovely to be here.
I'm looking forward to this conversation because I already know that we're going to be talking about disruption and how you've managed to break into a market, quite a niche market, and sort of bend the rules and people's expectations of you. But we'll get to that in a minute. Why don't we start by telling us a little bit about Agora Staff, why you founded it, who you founded it with, and what it is that you were seeking to achieve.
So Agora Staff was founded by myself and my husband. So I, in my kind of previous life, was an operating department practitioner. I worked in the NHS for a long, long time. And then I went off and did freelance, and I do compliance work. One of my clients was setting up a domiciliary care, and they were basically using an agency at the same time. And my husband and I kind of sat down and we were looking at it, and we were just saying, this model is so outdated, it's really old, it's archaic, and it is essentially costing billions of pounds to the adult care sector every year.
Right.
Being the kind of NHS person I was like, well, what can you do? It's not great. It's not ideal.
System works, yeah.
This is how everyone works. It's been this way since the dawn of time. If anyone had a good idea, they would have done it by now, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And my husband is obviously a wonderful man and said, well, why don't we change it? If you've got the model, and let's modernize it and revolutionize it. So a normal agency for a temporary care staff, they would say, if you're a provider, you would ring an agency, you would ask to have a shift covered. Those people would go out to all of their carers and say, we have this shift, it comes back, they go back to the provider, they say, no, thank you very much, don't like them. And then it goes back. And it's just a really long, laborious process. Yeah. But on top of that, those agency providers in the middle charge at least 35%, or on average 35%, of the shift cost for every single shift. So we thought, that's insane. So what we've done is we've created a marketplace, and it's a platform. So providers go on, they sign up, we make sure that they're a legitimate provider, obviously, always ideal. And carers then sign up to us, we go through their compliance, we make sure that they're actually safe to work, like you would in a normal agency. Yes. And what happens now is a provider puts on a shift, and a carer can apply for it, and they can talk together. Okay. And instead of having this middle person that's controlling them and kind of like a little spider web, they can talk to each other and they can deal with it together. And instead of taking an average of 35%, we just take 5%. So on an average care home, that can look like something like £40,000 a year in savings, which is another 2 members of staff, or,
so there's
brand new equipment, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating what you managed to do there. And obviously, I'm really impressed by the way that you know your numbers so well, and that's fantastic. But I want to go back a little bit because, you kind of glossed over very smoothly there, I think, what might have been a troublesome start to the business and the kind of pushback. Tell me about those early days and what kind of resistance, particularly from your peers, that you might have encountered.
So, I mean, everything in this healthcare, and obviously I'm very, very guilty of this. Well, this is just the way it works. And everyone very much is, it's very much embedded. It's a culture that is embedded, or certainly has been. Yeah. The kind of biggest pushback we got, really, which we were quite surprised about, was providers. So carers were like, yeah, sure, we'll sign up. That sounds great. Because from their perspective, they get flexibility, they can choose their own shifts and so on. Yeah. But providers were just like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Oh, I'm not really sure. And it was really surprising the amount of kind of push work we had to do, because all of them were literally like, this is a fantastic, you could save us that much. That's fantastic. Oh my God.
They still push back.
Actually, yeah. Do you think really it's funny?
Is it based? Do you think it's got a lot to do with their worldview? When you're in something, it's very difficult to see beyond it, isn't it? And you kind of think, oh, that's a great idea, but surely it can't work because somebody else would have done it by now if it could work. It's
hugely, yeah. So there's always that kind of element. And I think as well, adult social care providers are so busy, and they do not have the time to put all their eggs into something that potentially is just a waste and it doesn't work for them. So I think that was a lot of the kind of like, yeah, in theory, this is a great idea, but I haven't got time to implement this.
Right.
When we obviously did start getting providers on, obviously they realized that it's actually incredibly easy. Literally, the sign up of a care home takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It literally is so incredibly quick. We've kind of integrated other features into the system, so it kind of makes it a more holistic thing for them. So they can now post full-time jobs. So instead of just going on to like Indeed and so on, so they can just put it all on there. They can also manage all their internal bank shifts. So any overtime for their own staff can all go through it. So we've kind of created this place where rather than going to 5 or 6 different platforms and different ways of doing things, we've integrated it all into one. So it's a really easy system to have all of their staffing in one place. And yeah, it's nice to see the providers that have kind of, put their trust in us and worked with us in the startup phase that are actually like, oh my God, this is a life god, like absolute, godsend. This is, it's really, really helpful. So yeah, that was a lot of it. We, and obviously I think when anyone does anything marginally disruptive, you're always going to have people that are like, it's not going to work.
So
Because
do you still get that? I mean, you've broken the mold. You have broken the mold, but and it's very niche what you've done. But I guess amongst the whole field of providers and people in your sector, there are many others competing with you who are still doing things the way they've always done it. So in your marketing at the moment, are you using testimonials and case studies from existing clients to kind of still promote the story, or are you finding it easier? How's it going?
yeah, I mean, certainly that's kind of been a big part of it, of saying, you don't want to believe us, that's absolutely fine, but come and listen to ABC Care or whoever it is,
Yeah.
and they can tell you themselves. So that's certainly a kind of a big push that we're doing now. We're running around the country at the minute with a little video camera filming people and saying, tell us how wonderful we are,
You're
please.
collecting case studies. Yeah, no, I mean that's fantastic that you're doing that. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
I mean, it always feels a little bit kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know, odd to be like, can you please film me and say how wonderful we are? But at the end of the day, when you're investing into something, and not even financially, because from a provider point of view, Agora Staff is completely free, so they never have to pay for us anyway. But it can be, it's the time and the effort, and it's knowing that other people in your position have found it useful is a huge kind of driving factor, and it makes things a little bit easier, she says.
So where is the business right at this moment, and where do you want to take it? I have forgotten the time frame of how long you've been going. It's a few years now, isn't it?
We came up with the idea and started implementing it 2 years ago now, I think.
2 years ago. So it's early days, right?
We launched properly less than a year ago.
Right.
So
what's happened in that year? Give us a brief summary.
Insane amounts. We've gone from, I mean, we were very lucky to partner with a tech company, and they have obviously built stuff for us. They are based in Yeovil, so logistically we're all kind of spread out over the country apart from this little core group of tech, so they're all in Yeovil. So we thought, well, actually, let's make it easier on ourselves. We'll focus on the kind of middle south of England.
So
we kind of started in Bath and Bristol, and literally within weeks of signing up, we had carers signing up from Scotland and the Isle of Man, and right down in Cornwall and right down in Kent, and we're just like, what is, and it literally just it was, we were like, oh wow, this is fantastic. So yeah, we've kind of gone from an entirely unknown entity to being named as one of Google's top 30 GovTech startups in the UK, which, I mean, literally,
that's a massive accomplishment. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, we were
Congratulations.
so proud, obviously.
Right.
And having, getting to go to the Google offices and stand in front of, health ministers and government officials and investors and tell them what we were doing, and everyone's going, oh my God, this is incredible. It kind of gives you that reinforcement that what you're actually doing is, even when you know that what you're doing is right and it's a good thing, having external people come in and actually say, this is incredible. Like, well, this is amazing. Well done, you. So yeah, that's been wonderful. But yeah, the accolades have been wonderful. We've got providers on, we've got carers on, we've got shifts running. Like I said, we've just implemented our full-time shifts, so that will kind of bring a more kind of rounded element to the software. So it is incredible, and not down to me at all. It's the team that we have is just
Yeah.
absolutely outstanding. So yeah, good for
When you
them.
when you exceed your own expectations, though, as you obviously have done, it must be difficult to plan the future, to be forward planning.
Yeah.
What are your hopes? No, what are your objectives for the next couple of years or so?
I mean, world domination, I think.
Within
I
the
mean, look, we want to be, obviously, we want to be over the entirety of the UK.
yeah,
Obviously, that's a kind of starting point.
yeah,
But our main actual objectives, and you kind of look at our projection, is to move out of adult social care. So to take that, we have a piece that we're working on now to do domiciliary care, so home care,
yeah,
because obviously the safeguarding around lone workers and lone,
yeah,
residential individuals is huge, and that's not something that you can just jump into. That needs to be done properly and carefully.
yeah,
So that's the piece we're doing. Further to that, it will be, the NHS one day, hopefully,
yeah.
private
Okay.
hospitals, dentists, doctors,
Yeah.
anywhere that you have a temporary staff, there's
Yeah.
no reason that this model can't be adapted
The
and
model
used in
can't be
that
adapted.
sector.
It's just selling the model and selling the, the fact that it works and it works well, contrary to people's expectations. And yeah, and
Yeah, and
that's
I
really
just,
interesting.
one of the things I love, I mean, obviously I love so many things about it, but I love that not only does it give so much money back to the adult social care sector, which you can never get through funding of any description,
No,
it gives the flexibility and the autonomy back to the providers and the carers,
right.
and they get to decide themselves. If you go through a normal agency and you like somebody, you've then got to pay, a percentage of their yearly salary to the
Yeah,
agency to have them bring them on full time. We were like, that's insane. Why would you do that?
yeah,
It's just absolute nonsense. And you have, I think it's like something like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's something like 8% of, I think it's higher than that. There's a percentage of roles essentially that will always go unfilled within
yeah,
healthcare.
yeah,
So there is no point in charging somebody to take someone on when you've always got a temporary staffing,
yeah,
world that happens. There aren't enough people for the jobs.
yeah,
There's always going to be flux. So, if you like someone, have
yeah,
them. If they
yeah,
vibe with you and you vibe with them and they meet your values and
yeah.
standards, then that's fantastic. Surely, like, why would you
Yeah. And
financially
I'm
punish
glad,
somebody for that?
yeah, and I'm glad you dropped values and standards into that as well, because so many people just simply go on whether they're a fit or a match for the job. But values and standards is core for retention, isn't it?
Very
Retainment
much so.
of people in the business. That's really
Very
interesting.
much so.
Jolene, it's been fascinating hearing your story, and there's so many lessons in it. I think for people, not just people who are starting up a new business, but people that want to break the mold, people that suddenly realize that actually the business may grow faster than they're expecting. There's so much in that. It's been a real pleasure having you on the call today.
But it's been a pleasure having you. Yeah, Ben, no, it's been a pleasure having. Oh my goodness, I need more of this coffee.
It's
It's been
been
a
a
pleasure
pleasure.
being here.
We'll get them to
Yeah.
edit that bit at the end. Do you want to say it one more time?
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jolene.